In April of last year, Chad's long-serving president Idriss Deby was killed during a visit to the battlefield where soldiers were fighting against a rebel group that crossed into Sudan from Libya. Now, his death came shortly after provisional election results projected Deby, who had been president for almost 30 years, would have won a sixth term in office. Now, Deby's son, Lieutenant General Mahamat, then declared himself head of a transitional military council, but that breached the constitution, which designated the parliament leader as the direct successor. Earlier this month, Chad's ruling junta signed a peace deal with more than 40 opposition groups to launch a national reconciliation dialogue and also pave the way for a presidential election. But the country's main rebel group, the Front for Change and Concord in Chad, refused to take part. For more on this, African Affairs Commentator Collins Nweke joins us live from Brussels. Welcome to the programme. What hope do you have for these talks?
Thank you, Maria, for having me. Well, I have very measured hopes because while the impending talks that will lead to election, constitutional reforms, and so on and so forth, is a major step forward in seeing peace, return to that country, the peace that has eluded it for a very, very long time. There are still a number of things to worry about. Take, for instance, the fact that FAT isn't participating in these talks. They have refused to sign the deal. Is a major worry, even though there are 43 out of 47, groups that have, signed the deal. The fact that FAT didn't sign is a major cause for worry. But then also, looking at the content of the talks itself, I believe that there are some very, very knotty issues. Timing is an issue because they have earmarked 3 weeks to carry out, all the negotiations and probably, have a deal. But 3 weeks is such a very short time. And then the other major issue becomes the position of Mahamat Deby, whether or not he will be eligible to stand, election for the presidency. So these are very tough issues, and one can only, be hopeful that common sense and reasonability will prevail. And
so you say 3 weeks is a short time, but if there isn't progress, what would happen and what's at stake?
I think it's hard to imagine what will happen, because obviously the likelihood that they are going to return to ground zero is there. And, the world has waited for so long for this kind of peace to happen because, as you know, peace in Chad actually is the determinant of, actually stamping out Islamic extremism in the rest of Africa and therefore the rest of the world. So this is not just of significance to Chad as a country, but also the entire Sahel region, but by extension, the entire Africa region. Not achieving the peace, constitutional reform, elections, and all of that will, actually spell more trouble.
So, Collins, what you're saying, if I understand clearly, this is, something that the world should be looking at and watching very closely when we're talking about the impact it has on extremism.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is of, very, very major importance to the entire world, especially this, Islamic extremism that the world has been dealing with for years now. Chad is seen as a breeding ground for that. And so peace returning there, where the country is seen to be governable under democratic dispensation, will indeed have a positive spillover effect to the rest of the world.
Thank you so much, Collins, for giving us that context and that analysis. Really appreciate your time today. Collins Nweke joining us there from Brussels.